Okay, Frank. Well, with that in mind, tactical pause pitching. Hi guys, my name is Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl Lemon Sales. We're a sales training and development agency based in the UK as well as the USA and serving clients worldwide. And here today, in day number 63 of 119 days of cold calling training, we're here to talk about tactical pause pitching. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to the 17 additional strategies that are not shared in this training. So fundamentally, tactical pause pitching, when used appropriately during calls, is a very, very powerful asset to have as you walk into any of your cold calls, okay? Now, with tactical pause pitching, there's a couple of things that it will ultimately be powerful for. So it's powerful when you want to negotiate. It's powerful when you want to create suspense, and it's powerful when you want to change the direction of the dialogue, okay? So it's for negotiation, it's for suspense, and it's when you want to change the direction of the dialogue. So let's give one example of each so you can see how powerful tactical pause pitching is. So if a prospect comes back to you and says, Deepak, I totally hear where you're coming from, but $12,000 a year is just not going to work for us. Okay, Richard, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. How about we look at the same $12,000, but we extend the plan for another 2 months. So you'll get 14 months of value, 14 months, not 12, at the same 12-month price. I can probably organize that for you if we sign off on this, maybe even today. So guys, that is example number one where we're negotiating. So as you can see right now, in terms of the just the manner in which I'm talking to you, it's hopefully it's very natural and it's as if I'm talking to a friend. But when it gets to the opportunity to negotiate, the tactics go through the roof in terms of the way that we're using pauses, because those pauses that I'm using, they demonstrate thoughtfulness, they demonstrate deliberation, and they demonstrate care, okay? TDC, thoughtfulness, deliberation, and care. And when Richard is negotiating with me or throwing an objection at me, I need to show that I'm treating those objections with real thoughtfulness and that I'm not trying to push them aside. So this is where the pauses really come into power, because as a general part of most people's speech, they're not really, you don't really use pauses. Pauses are incredibly effective in, for example, storytelling, okay? They have a way of capturing an audience, and that's what we're doing when we're beginning to incorporate those tactical pauses upon negotiation. And what's interesting is that it gives the person you're negotiating with, that you're parlaying with, the real feeling of importance during the pitch, okay? Which means that it's easier for you to take the pitch in the direction that you want. Whether you do offer a discount, whether you don't offer a discount, whether you offer something instead of it, whether you sidestep it completely. There's, of course, a number of ways in which you could take a conversation like that. But fundamentally, by enlisting pauses where you're like, Richard, I definitely hear what you're saying. What I'm thinking, as you can see, the way that you slow it down combines then negotiation with suspense almost, okay? Because now Richard is fishing, woo, for a discount, and by pausing and carefully deliberating over each word, you're showing care for Richard, you're showing the thoughtfulness, and Richard cannot wait to get to whatever the answer is. And that's what you enlist as a weapon in your arsenal when you begin to tactically pause. And as you could see there, I was slowing down throughout that entire actual narrative. So Richard's speed is, Deepak, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know that at this price point, what you're giving to us, I don't know it's going to work out for us. And Richard has a certain speed, but I ultimately change, and this is where you begin to incorporate all three of them. I, in a way, I do change the speed of the conversation, but therefore it also allows us to take the conversation almost down a different route, okay? And we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail shortly, but by entering into the negotiation and me saying, Richard, I hear what you're saying. How about, do you see what I'm doing there? You don't even, I mean, I don't necessarily even know what I'm about to say, but I can feel the suspense in my own voice as I'm wondering, well, how am I going to take this negotiation forward? What am I going to do? It's like that moment in a cinema when you're watching a scene and a character's about to say or do something and you're wondering what's going to happen next. And this is a theatric device that when you bring into the sales environment is going to serve you incredibly, incredibly well. So this is taken from theater, movies, screenplay, and by inserting it into the sales environment, it creates leverage for you, okay? You can use it as a lever to take the conversation into different directions. So we spoke about negotiation, and it also works, as we said, independently of negotiation in the suspense framework. So that would be something to the effect of, Richard, I'm really, really excited to talk to you today about what we are unveiling for your actual projects in 2 weeks from today. Wow, it's going to blow your mind, man. I mean, it blew my mind the first time that I saw it. So if you compare that, guys, to not using pauses, Richard, I'm really excited to talk to you today. Listen, what I'm about to share with you is going to blow your mind. When I first got a look at this, do you see how there's such a difference without pauses versus the use of pauses? So with the creation of suspense, it's a really powerful trope or asset to use. And then finally, when you want to change the direction of the narrative, this might be, for example, when Richard has said, let's wipe all of that. When Richard has said, Deepak, you know, I hear what you're saying, but when Richard has said, I don't think it's for me. So Richard has left you with a big N for no. And then you could say, Richard, I totally understand. Richard, yeah, no, I can totally, so you show empathy. I totally understand where you're coming from. You know, Richard, I'm thinking, you earlier in the call referenced how happy you were with Dante, how well the sales training that we've been providing had been going, as well as all of the returns that you've seen over the last 3 months. So I'm thinking that with everything that you've said overall, this challenge that you've just referenced can be worked around, okay? Because if I'm just looking at ultimately the notes, so guys, do you see there that I'm changing the direction somewhat of the narrative? And that's really useful to just, well, I say it's really useful. Of course, it's useful in general, but it's that use of pauses that allows me to, you know, you're going steadily in one direction and it's related to pace. Then you pause. You typically pause when you want to look around and then you want to change direction. So you head off that way. Okay. So that is also another way to enlist the power of pauses. There you have it, guys. Tactical pause pitching. If you get familiar with this and comfortable with it and use it as part of your arsenal, it's going to be such an asset to have as you walk into any cold call.
Remember, we've got 17 gated strategies just waiting for you. All you need to do is bing, subscribe, as well as click the link in the description below to get access to those 17. Get some.